A veil has been placed upon this nation, and I did it. So that for a season my people would wonder and faith would increase. For in darkness faith grows. But now my fury has ended. Hear me. I am restoring the fortunes of Zion. I am restoring the fortunes that were the inheritance of my people. I am restoring the fortunes of those that are elect of God and had been stolen from. You shall eat your delicacies again, and your children will no longer be your food. You shall not use them and take them out of the womb anymore, says the Lord. Watch how I change everything.
And I saw that fence, and I could not see the end of the fence. And I saw many people, I couldn't count them. There were so many people sitting on the fence. And then I saw those two powerful hands, and I knew those are the hands of God. And he grabbed the fence and he shook it, and he kept shaking that fence violently.
And what did you say? This is where I got the saying from. Who owns the fence, Arthur?
Well, that's the thing. You got to understand that the enemy owns the fence. You must choose. With God, it's not a little bit of him and a little bit of demons, a little bit of the Holy Spirit, a little bit of Satan in your heart. Either you give him everything or you have nothing. So he kept shaking the fence, and I saw people falling to the left. And Bo, they were holding on to the fence for a long time. They were holding to the fence. They didn't want to let go. And then eventually when he was done shaking, it took time. Then when no one was sitting on the fence, he spoke to me. I could hear him in that vision, and he said, when I'm done shaking, everyone will have to choose either me or the devil.
So watch me, saith God, all that I've declared shall come to pass. Make sure, saith the Lord, that when I begin to release my blessings, that you do not miss them, because you rode the fence to see which side won before you chose. And I say to you, you ride the fence, saith God, you've already chose. God says there will be many that will remember what the prophets have declared and say, oh, if we just had one more moment. Hear me, says the Lord, I'm getting ready to stop speaking prophetic, and I'm going to fulfill it.
A day to remember is coming. It is rapidly approaching. This day will change everything, and your life will never be the same. It will be a marker in history, and everything in your life will be different before and after this day. This is the day you have been praying, hoping, and believing for. Fear not, as there will be much confusion, and much will happen in one day. I am the great I am, and there is nothing that I can't do.
And so we are stepping into a time point. I don't care what anybody says, it's going to happen. This event is going to happen. It's going to happen in the year 2024, period.
Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Sound the alarm. Prepare to recover all the enemy has stolen. The tables are not going to be turned. They are about to be flipped. They are about to be flipped.
How'd they build the system? How'd they build Babylon? How'd they build it? With money. So what's the one thing God's got to take down?
The money system. Yeah.
He's got to take down
and
the money
take it back to gold and silver, God's money.
There's your flipping the scales. That's the flipping of the scales. That's why Christ walked in the temple and flipped the scales. And what did he do? He whipped the money changers.
Yeah.
He whipped them. He whipped them. Let's repeat that.
The deep state cabal will not know what hit them. The deep state cabal will not know what hit them.
What I see happening is an event that triggers all of this, and I've said it before in your show, I'll say it again. I believe the event is right around the 23rd of September, okay? What we're looking at is the birth of God's kingdom. What I'm saying about this is when you look at the Revelation 12 sign, Virgo gives birth. 7 years would take it to September 23rd, 2024. Okay, this is one calculation.
But this is for you, says the Lord. The tide is turning for you. A very strange thing shall happen in September. Moving into the fall where there shall be a great fall. Fall of the enemies, fall of kings, fall of princes. Watch and see, for God says beginning in September, I will turn everything around, and my people shall see an intervention of a kind that they have never seen before.
It begins.
Remember, Noah, he chose you for a reason.
The long-awaited 50-year Jubilee.
That's the end of everything.
Beginning. Beginning of everything.
Birth of a new era.
Point is, since nothing happened on Revelation 12 in 2017, you got to count 7 years forward. So we count 7 years forward. It's this September. God's told Janie we're in a 30-day countdown window. And the three of us have been talking specifically for the past few months about a gold spike, a silver spike that's about to manifest on the earth. And I heard very clearly, you're never going to see silver, particularly silver, explode in price. Ever, 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 until God's kingdom is birthed. So it's fun to be here because you can't stop what's coming. That's the cool part of this, because you can't stop prophecy. The prophecy is true. No man can stop what's about to happen, okay? That's scriptural. And so all you can do is prepare. And so that's why it's so important to understand, if you got finances in the bank, you got digits in the bank, you don't have money. The digits you have in the bank are a total fraud created by Satan. You think you have wealth, but you don't. You just have digits. And when God flips the financial scales, I'm telling you, you're going to hope that you called Andrew months ago, because you don't want to be 1 day late. You're better off to be 2 years early.
Yep.
Because God only needs 1 day. If you don't own God's money, when he flips the financial scales, his money rises to the surface and the other financial system collapses. And I appreciate Andrew, because Andrew is like, the reasonable one in this conversation. And when I'm joking, because when you're from a biblical perspective, the things that I'm talking about are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bo's crazy and Andrew's reasonable. And I appreciate that. That's why this is a fun podcast, right? Because from a perspective, silver breaking above $32, silver breaking above $32. And that's why I've said in a single day, we're going to see silver go from where it is now to $68 to $70 in a single day. In a single day, gold's going to go from where it is to over $4,000 in a single day. Again, that's crazy, Bo, and I agree with you. But when God intervenes, it's the farthest thing from crazy. It's expected. It's expected.
And here we are with Andrew and Bo, and guess what? We hit over 32 on silver.
We have been speaking about that for a long months and months now, and we said there's two lines in the sand. Remember that one? The first one was 27. We talked about that early part of this year, and we've been talking about 27. When 27 breaks, it becomes support. Look at it. It blew through 27. I believe it was in May last time I saw you in Texas, Pastor Dave.
Yep.
It's actually kind of funny. We're getting together again just as the two key marks are being hit. So silver breaks through 27, and we have a get-together at your ranch in Texas. And now this time around, the second number is 32. We just broke through it yesterday, which is a critical number and also an important date yesterday because this directly relates to Revelation 12 sign. So on the day, the first day of the next day of Revelation 12 sign, literally the start of the new era, silver blows through $32. And today it's battling at $32 as we speak. So 27, 32, and the 32 is a line in the sand. Break 32, it's off to the races like you've never seen before. So that's how I wanted to start this. And I put that video together yesterday just literally because we blew through $32, the number that we've been speaking about for months.
Andrew, your thoughts?
Well, I like seeing 2024 at the end of the video because that's exactly the preparation that I just finished doing, where I wanted to see where gold was now and compare it with where we started on the first trading day of January. And you won't believe this. It was exactly $2,063.73 on the first day that the market was open in January. And at that moment, it was exactly $2,663 today for 1 ounce of gold. And I talk about gold a lot, and people always give me a hard time. They say, well, what about silver? Isn't silver better? Yes, what's good for gold is great for silver. And silver has outperformed gold percentage-wise this year. And I like it because it's done so very, very quietly and under the radar.
What they do is they suppress the most manipulated metal in the world. Yeah. You know, we've always heard, the silver bullets, silver kills vampires or, whatever. I don't know where all that, the question you want to ask yourself, where does this stuff come from? Like, where do these myths come from? Because they've got to have some basis to them. And the point I'm trying to make is silver is man's money. Gold's always been the money of kings. And so what is happening right now? You're having the kings of the earth, the globalists, buying and stacking up on what, Andrew? What are they loading up on? What are all the nations of the earth loading up on? What's China loading up on? What's Russia been loading up on? What have these big countries what have they been loading up on, Andrew?
Records amount of gold.
Bingo. Okay. So scripturally, and we have to understand, you go back in history, gold's always been the money of kings. And the money of the people has been silver. So, knowing that fact, which metal would the globalists spend hordes amount of time and energy on to keep suppressed forever and ever and ever and ever? Because if it's okay for gold to be going up, and that's what I've been saying, you're going to see Bitcoin take off first. We've seen that it's now over 60,000. We've seen gold go next. And gold, like Andrew said, it's up like $600 just on the year, from what I think you said earlier, right? So we're up $600 on gold just for the year. And what are they holding back? What are they holding back? And what have we said in all the podcasts? They are never going to let silver get out of the, if this is compared to a racetrack, horses in the gates, they're not going to let silver out of the gate. And the gate there was two gates, one at 27, the next one at 32. They're never going to let silver blow through 32 because if they did, it's the end of their financial system. Silver technically is a bank killer because who has millions upon millions upon millions of short positions? And a short position is a bet by a big institution. So the institutions, the banks, the cartel, they short the price of silver with using paper contracts. And so what you're looking at with regard to silver is a paper price. But wait a second. But gold and silver are metals, are they not? Get what I'm saying? Gold and silver are metal, but yet they suppress it with a paper price. So we're just seeing a paper price. That's called price manipulation. And like, if you want example of no price or difficult price manipulation, extremely difficult price manipulation is trying to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is a digital asset that there's only ever going to be 21 million of them. They cannot make Bitcoin. They can't make it. For whatever reason, they're having extreme difficulty suppressing the price of Bitcoin. And therefore, it's over $60,000. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a pressure release valve. Also, it's a pressure release valve. If they didn't have Bitcoin, what have they created in the past 4 years? Remember, it took 100 years to make the first $1 billion. And 1,000 billion is a trillion. And we're in the quadrillions. 1,000 billion is a trillion. 1,000 trillion is a quadrillion. This is like the bubble that we're talking about. And so what they're using is cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, to take some of the pressure off. And that's why Bitcoin's in the 60,000 range. So they're having difficulties manipulating it. But the last thing they will ever allow is God's money, gold and silver, to have true value. But gold's already up to 2,700. But they will do everything in their power to keep man's money, the people's money, worthless. And that's what we've been watching. They are doing everything to keep the cap on it because they know that people hold silver and they will not let it run. And that's why there's only one way that silver is ever going to go to what was written scripturally. 30, 60, 100 fold. And before you see 30, 60, 100, you see damages paid. And what are damages, Pastor Dave? 7-fold.
Yep.
So I'm just telling you, if you look at the price of silver and just use the floor on it at $20 at the start of the year, roughly, 20 times 7 is $140 per ounce silver. For that to happen, times 7 is damages, and that's biblical. God said that you pay damages 7-fold. So when God flips the financial scales, the evil ones, the evil regime, will be paying damages 7-fold quickly, probably within 3 months, which means that we should see easily this year $140 price on silver as it's working its way into what's called true price discovery. So it's going to move its way from paper price to physical price. And that physical price, you can ask anybody, if you look at the price of Bitcoin today, the physical price of silver should easily be in the hundreds of dollars. Easily, because we're in a system of quadrillions of dollars, trillions of dollars. We're in stupid math.
Yeah.
For the amount of money that's been created out of thin air. And so that's how I want to, start off. Andrew, what are your thoughts on what I just described with the money system, the money supply? If there was no price suppression for silver of man's money, of the people's money, what would your best guess be on a current price of silver? Again, just your opinion. I don't think I've ever asked you that question.
It's actually right on both ends of where you just estimated. I would guess that silver would hit between $100 and $150 an ounce. And I love what you said, because so many of the people that invest in gold and silver are educated either through college or through business, and they know just the basic laws of supply and demand. If the supply isn't meeting the demand, then the price goes up. But with gold and silver, we'll say silver specifically, the demand for physical silver can be so sky high. There could be a billionaire that's buying $50 million worth of silver, and that's going to stress the available silver supply, which should make silver double in price, maybe even triple in price almost overnight. But it doesn't happen because it's being suppressed by the paper silver trading on the exact same spot price as the physical silver. The game has been rigged since the very beginning. And they can only do it for a little bit longer. Eventually, it's going to break through. This could be it. If we can go back above 32, $32 for 1 ounce of silver, and then stay above that for a couple of weeks, and then just have an event or two, shoot it past 35, then this would be just like 2011 all over again. It could run from 35 to 49, just like it did in 2011, and it happened quickly. It might even happen faster this time.
Well, we hit a 11-year high yesterday, inter trading, and one of the things, to your point, Bo, was on Twitter was trending silver squeeze. So people are starting to wake up that there's truly a silver squeeze. It was trending on X.
Again, man's money, the people's money, is silver. It's always been. And when you go back and look at what an ounce of silver could buy, it was a day's labor, if I'm not mistaken, or is it several days' labor? 1 ounce of silver. And if you took the amount of population of the world right now, it's not even possible for everybody to even have 1 ounce. And so something's about to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you, something's about to go down here. Everything's been trending exactly what we've been looking at. From a chart pattern, we've got this massive, like 30, 40, 50-year chart pattern cup and handle forming, and all it leads to is a massive explosion. So, like I said, when this event goes down, I truly believe, and I look at the charts and what I feel when I look at what the CME has also been exposed. I've got the CME that we've talked about. It's an exhibit or a draft that they did like 10 or 11 years ago. And what it specifically states is there are stops on silver and gold. So silver will run up $3 instantaneously. Their computer algorithms will shut down all trading globally, or however they do it. They would shut it down immediately for a window of about 5 minutes. Then the moment they open it up, it's going to go another $3. And there's 4 stops on that, which means 4 stops times $3, that's $12. So you have to ask yourself the question, who wrote that rule? And why did they write the rule? Because there's nothing in the world that these people do that's random. Okay, there's no reason for them to write that CME rule. CME is Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and these are the people that run the trading for the United States. Is where the hub is. And so why did they write that rule? Why is that written? Who wrote it? And what's the purpose behind it? Because it states very clearly there's $3 increments, 4 stops, and after that, no more stops. And the reason for the stops is because the globalists, these banking cartels, the banks would want to get out of their short positions, because if it went up $3, they would lose billions. But if it went up $20 in a matter of 5 minutes, they would lose trillions, and it would destroy. It would be the ultimate bank killer like you've never seen before. So the reason they wrote it, no one told me this. I'm just saying, why would they have written in the first place? So if this is real, and is real, we've shown it on our podcast before. So it was written with intent. If it was written with intent, they knew one day they would have to act on this. And so the day that this event goes down is the day that they lose control of precious metals for a quick window of time. Well, how could that happen? How could the globalists who control everything suddenly lose control of everything? I have a 3-letter word, and it's called God. They know that one day God just might intervene. And these laws that were written are literally written for them with a just in case. Just in case. So what I'm saying is something is still afoot. We could see literally this commercial short position get squeezed. We could see $12 then go to $20. We still could see $60 to $70 silver this month yet. And again, all I'm saying is none of this stuff was written because, they didn't know something was one day going to happen. Something is going to happen. We're at a 7-year biblical time point. All I know is fasten your seatbelts into October.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Barry Wunsch had a prophecy today about silver and gold. God is going to release silver and gold to new heights. So we'll be right back after this.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
And we're back. Andrew, you want to break down what we were discussing about the prices on silver? I think that was pretty dramatic when you said that.
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget that in November of 2022, we had just finished doing a podcast together, the three of us. And then Bo Polny calls me afterwards and makes a purchase. It was when silver was $18.50 for 1 ounce. Again, November 2022. And then fast forward to January of this year, silver was $23.82 for 1 ounce. And currently it's just under $32 an ounce. So when you see that dramatic pace of it being up almost $14 an ounce from the low of $18.50 in just under 2 years' time, if we continued that pace every 2 years, that would be a pretty significant gain for silver. And we know that it's being suppressed. It can't sit there forever. We're just, again, we're 1 or 2 events away from seeing all-time high on silver. But you have to, trends are the number one thing of any investment to me, really. And you've got to love that trend.
Absolutely.
Silver, like gold, and it's called a commodity. If you pull up a commodity chart, you'll start to realize that all commodities are starting to break to new highs. When you start seeing this, as Andrew said, he nailed it. It's called a trend. So right now, the trend is commodities. What are commodities? Hard assets, real things. Sugar, wheat, corn, cocoa. You see, these are all assets that people need, not just like some stocks. We're literally talking like hard assets. And like I said, what's the number one hard asset the globalists want to keep suppressed? Silver. Period. And so they're holding the gates on it. Now we're watching Bitcoin it's been jumping. It's just about to blow through 70,000. It started under $1. We've got, now again, I'm not saying go buy cryptocurrencies. I'm saying God's money is gold and silver, Haggai 2 verse 8, but I'm using it as an example. And the best example we can use now is gold. Gold's at new all-time highs. I'm going to repeat that. Gold is at new all-time highs. Many other commodities are making new all-time highs. You can check the chart on cocoa, is blown crazy vertical. So many commodities are making new all-time highs, except the most hated metal or asset by all the globalists because they want to keep the people poor. When God intervenes, no one knows the day this is going to go down. Now, Pastor Dave can expand further on the feasts because all the feasts this year start in October. And we've played the video before of Jonathan Kahn speaking specifically about Elul 29. Mm-hmm. Many market events occur historically every 7 years on a Shemitah on Elul 29, which is this year is not in September. Even 9/11 was in relation to Elul 29, but that was in September because that's how the Hebrew calendar worked out. This time around, Elul 29 is October 2nd. So no one knows. God's keeping his strikes, how he's going to play this, a mystery and a secret because no one's stopping what's about to happen. It's an impossibility to stop what God's about to do. You can't stop what's coming. The prophets have spoken. There are so many prophets that I've listened to that have stated wealth transfer, financial blessings, and why all this has to happen. This is not about, the prosperity gospel. This is literally, if you want to buy some land, you need finance. If you want to buy a church, you need finance. Satan's known this. Money, and the point of it is specifically, it's to bless you, to bless those around you. But the globalists use the money to control humanity, and that's how Babylon was built. And not only that it controls humanity, it controls them. That's the key about finance. And so silver is man's money, the people's money. They manipulate it forever. And so like Andrew's referencing $18. Yeah, it's great to buy silver at $18. It's also great, in my opinion, to still buy silver at $32.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because when silver is at $100, you're not going to care that you bought it at 18 or 32. You're just going to be super happy you have it. Because what happens in a bull market, which Andrew will expand upon, but a bull market is when everybody and their grandma knows that something's going on with silver. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Everybody, including grandma, knows, like they're hearing, like, what's going on with silver? I hear the price is going up like crazy. Because I've even had, my mom years ago talk about silver when in 2011. She never talks about this stuff, but everybody talks about silver in a bull market. When that event's happening and silver is made a new high, so gold's already at new highs. Silver is not. So silver is still cheap because it gets expensive when it starts making new all-time highs. When the CME rules get triggered, we could see silver go to new all-time highs in a single day. Mm-hmm. My target is still $60 to $70 in a single day, and that only starts the greatest move of silver ever in history. So my point about silver, if it's at $100 or $200 or $300 an ounce, both those numbers are crazy. Like we played in the video up front. Yes, $200, $300, $600 silver is stupid and it's crazy. Not stupid, it's just crazy numbers. But they're not crazy numbers, they're biblical numbers. Because blessings are 30, 60, 100-fold. So if you take the Bible and what's written, because what is written is the truth, and if God's going to multiply, you got damages at sevenfold, that's $140 to $150 silver an ounce. Blessings are 30, that's just the first level. 30 times 20 is $600 an ounce. That's never going to happen unless God does something, but if God does something, he's going to flip the financial scales in a very short order. I'd say early part of next year, quite easily, we could see $600 an ounce silver. Yes, it's crazy in how we perceive it in our heads right now. But when God intervenes, 600 becomes a no-brainer. That's just, again, a warm-up to $2,000, which is 100-fold blessing. You see what I'm saying? And so the finishing point on this conversation is when it's at $100 or $1,000 an ounce, because it will be there one day, you don't care that you bought it at $18 or $32. Andrew, what do you got to add?
I always tell people when I talk to them on the phone exactly that. Don't get too concerned about what the price that you get in at, because you want to be thinking where you know it's going to go. So whether you think it's going to go to 50, you think it's going to go to 100, you think it's going to go to 500, that's what you should be bearing in mind when you get it. So here's an example. When silver was $18.50 an ounce, back in November of 2022, you stayed away from the Silver Eagle, which is usually what you want to buy, because at that time, a Silver Eagle cost $18 more than the actual price of silver. So just to repeat and clarify, 1 ounce of silver in the form of the Silver Eagle cost $36.50 back then. Well, it doesn't cost much more than that right now. And silver's up like $14 an ounce. So really, the premiums of what they cost are going to change from time to time. But in my opinion, you want to get silver when the premiums are low. Right now, they're about as low as they're going to be. And it's not going to stay that way for much longer, because if silver jumps the way that Bo says that it can and eventually will, the premiums could be 50% of the above the actual price of 1 ounce of silver. So that would mean an ounce of silver, if the spot price is $100, could cost $150. I've seen it happen with gold. I've seen it happen with silver on multiple occasions. It's just not like that right now. So to me, it just means that it's a good time to get in. You've not missed out on anything. It's not too late for you. It's going much higher.
Go backwards in time where we started this several years ago. It just dawned on me. We were talking about inflation as an emergency. Put this in instead of your cash because you're losing the money. Now you even got Andrew on tape saying, if it goes to 50, if it goes to 100, now you got some significant upside. So it's gone dramatically up in the last couple of years, just in our conversations.
We have a track record to prove it.
Actually, I wanted to ask, because when I pass it off to you, I forgot to ask one question. Maybe you can expand upon this, Andrew. I just want to add this one question in. In 2011, I was here, I was watching it. I watched, when it got to the top, I got out at silver in the high 40s. When I exited my position, got back in. But my point is, I know I would go to the dealers, and I didn't say, I want to buy this coin. The question I would always ask them when I went to the dealer, I said, what do you have? There's a huge difference. Right now, you can call up Andrew, and please expand upon this, because Andrew would know better than I right now, but I don't know what Andrew can get. But I can guarantee you call up Andrew, hey, I'd like to get this, or I'd like to get that, or I'd like a 10-ounce bar, I'd like to buy Eagles. You have, like, it's like going to, the restaurant, you can choose all these different things on the menu right now. But in the bull market in 2011, okay, there was no menu. There was no menu of silver. All there was I'd walk into the dealer and I say, what do you have? He goes, well, this guy just dropped off these coins over here. Do you want to buy them? That's all there was. And the reason this happens is because everybody and their grandma knows what's going on with silver, and everybody wants to be in because nobody wants to miss out. And so how does this happen? What I just described with the CME, silver blows vertical. We're at $60 to $70. Everybody finds out that silver is the greatest investment, and it's one of the most undervalued assets on the planet. That's why the things, like you're saying on X, all the silver squeeze, because everybody knows it's the most manipulated metal on the globe. It's the most undervalued asset on the globe, and the globalists have been manipulating it for decades, for generations, right? And so when everybody finds out what's the truth will set silver free in terms of going to price discovery. And so you're going to have billionaires, millionaires step up, hey, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Next thing you know, they're going to call up Andrew. They're going to call up another gold dealer, another gold dealer, another gold dealer. And next thing you know, every gold dealer is 2 words: sold out. Every gold dealer is sold out. When this event goes down, I'm telling you, probably no more than a week or two, every gold dealer in the United States will be sold out of silver. Because even at $60 an ounce, if Andrew, I don't even know what it has for inventory, but I guarantee you it wouldn't take, it would take one guy with several hundreds of millions of dollars to come in and buy him out, and he's empty, even at $60 or $70. That's the thing people need to understand. Silver, when on an event like this in a bull market, when it breaks vertical, silver, and I've joked about it before, but it's not really a joke, silver will become unobtainium. And that's why you won't care if you spent $30, $32. And right now, like you're saying on the Eagles, I was checking, I think they're like $3 or $4 or $5 over spot right now. So Eagles are phenomenal pricing still right now on the Eagles. But again, back to my point, Andrew, to expand upon this. Right now, if a person calls you, you can pretty much offer them a menu of silver that they can buy from, and then expand on that. When a bull market like 2011, what happened to your menu of silver?
Yeah, it's actually an amazing thing to actually experience. So 2011 was the last really bull market, but there was a big run on silver at the end of 2022, and it was very reminiscent of 2011. So basically, it works like this: people call in and they go, "I want a silver eagle. How much for silver eagles?" You go, "I don't have those." They go, "Okay, great. How much for 100-ounce silver bars?" I don't have those. And I go, look, maybe it'd be better if we just pose a question like this: what silver do you have left? And this is when we go into our vault and we say, okay, I've got a couple thousand Canadian silver dollars from the 1960s that have 80% silver in them. They go, that's all you got? I go, that's all I have. I've got like silver coming in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Everything's delayed. I could sell it to you now. It's supposed to be here in 3 to 4 weeks. If it takes an extra week or two, I don't want you to worry. It's just, I want you to give me the time to be able to deliver it in a timely manner. And people were saying yes, because they were bandwagoned into doing this. They had that herd mentality, and people were just like, I've got to get silver. I don't care if it's really expensive. I don't care if I have to give people my money, get nothing for what I've given them today, and wait weeks to receive my silver, just as long as I have it coming. And people did it, no problem. The problem is that when that happens, you need to have a gold or silver broker that you believe in and know or have done business with before that happens, because like Pastor Dave always asks me to mention, that's when the scammers come out.
Yep.
And that's when you make an emotionally based decision because of that herd mentality, that's when you're poised to make a mistake. And when you're dealing with your retirement or everything that you've possibly saved, you want to try to avoid making an emotional decision. And that's why oftentimes we tell people that you need to pray about it. You need to talk with your family and do your best to make an educated decision to do this. But the bull markets are a very, very interesting thing. People will buy any silver that they can get their hands on. And just one more thing about how quickly an inventory can dwindle. Recently, okay, I'm talking like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, there were a couple of oddball type silver items that I've had here. Like I had 18,000 units of a 1.5 ounce silver coin that we don't usually offer. I had 32,000 of a 2 ounce silver coin that we don't usually offer. And those are like completely gone, in addition to all the things that we constantly offer. So we're seeing right now a lot of people call us to get silver, and it's not lasting. We just need, like what we saw a couple of years ago, like one of the Walmart heirs or somebody, a billionaire, somebody putting in millions of dollars into silver for there to be a squeeze on the physical silver market. And then it'll feel like 2011 all over again.
What's different though this time compared to 2011 is BRICS, and everything's going to silver and gold throughout the whole world. So this is not going to be, oh, here it is, get out, and it's be over for another 20 years again. It's going to have to be in everybody's portfolio going forward, at least something.
You see, in October, you're correct, Pastor Dave, because there is a BRICS meeting in October. See, the BRICS. And then there's a Kim Clement prophecy, the brothers of Goliath, the BRICS, stand in glee, we will cripple you, the giant United States. So, well, how could that happen? They've been working on this for the past, how long has the BRICS been in? Is it 11 or 12 years now, Andrew? So their whole agenda, the agenda is to dethrone the world reserve currency. That's the agenda of the BRICS, because bottom line is, Putin was, when he did the podcast with Tucker, he goes, the stupidest thing the United States could have ever done was weaponize the U.S. dollar. Yeah. They did. They put sanctions against Russia. They put sanctions against Iran. They're sanctioning all these different countries, and they're doing it. So that's called weaponizing the currency. So what a weaponization is that, so now if you wanted to send a wire to somebody in Russia, you can't do it. You see, so they basically shut down the financial system to certain countries. These countries have had enough of the bully. You know, at some point, the bully on the block finds somebody that can take him out. And the bully on the block for 50 years now, minimum, since the Bretton Woods, has been the United States. And the bully on the block's about to find out what the BRICS can do. And the problem is the BRICS comprise, like, I think 60 to 70% of the world population. This is huge. And they have an announcement they're going to make in October. And October is a very interesting month because we talked about Elul 29, then that takes us into Tabernacles. So it's feast time. That's a very important time, not for me, not for Pastor Dave, but biblically. So when you look at the feasts, for example, right here, you got Elul 29, October 2nd, which takes us into Rosh Hashanah, which is the head of the year, the start of a new. Kim Clement said beginning in September, which is literally next Monday, the last day of it. The day after that is Tuesday. The day after that is Elul 29, which is comprised major market events globally for hundreds of years. We know God's about to do something. We got Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, the start of a new. That leads us into the 10 days of awe. And then that transfers into the Tabernacles. This is the crazy part because the last day of Tabernacles last year happened to be the 6th, I think the 6th or the 7th, and that was a Friday. The last day of Tabernacles last year was the 6th, was the war began in Israel to the exact day. So that takes us into the 1-2-4 pattern here on the 24th, which means, and the bricks, I believe, are meeting somewhere right here at the end of Tabernacles. So no one knows how this is all going to go down, but it's going down. It's going down, and no one can stop what's coming. And I think, Pastor Dave, you've heard this many times when you do your events. I've heard, at least when I was at your event, I hear it regularly, but just a couple of ladies would walk up to me at the booth when I was, selling or signing my book at your event in May. I'd have women who walk up regularly. I love you. I love listening to Pastor Dave and Andrew. I love what you guys talk about. I get it. It makes sense. But my husband, I can't get him on board. How many times have we heard that before, right? And then, so, when the husbands get on board, when everybody and their grandma is seeing what's happening to silver, when it goes crazy and it just blows vertical, goes to $60, $70, you're going to have those and my husband's calling up Andrew and every other gold dealer. And next thing you know, within a few days, Andrew's sold out. Andrew will be sold out. And so will every other gold dealer in the United States and probably globally. And then after that, from that day onwards, it's going to be so difficult to source silver because everybody is bought silver for what? As an insurance policy to do what, Andrew and Pastor Dave? To protect their wealth.
Yeah.
Isn't that it's an insurance policy? Correct me if I'm wrong. But Andrew, isn't owning precious metals an insurance policy because it's a biblical money, Pastor Dave? Goes back thousands of years. So so whenever a financial system or currency fails, Andrew, what's the go-to? Where does the moment any history, and you go back in history, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, every time a financial instrument, a currency of a nation fell, what was the go-to? Where did everybody always resort as a last resort? What was it, Andrew?
It's always gold and silver, always.
Yep. And so when history repeats itself, that which has been will be again. So we can't stop what's coming. We're stepping into the end of, we've already seen on the last, Virgo giving birth on the Revelation 12 sign, 7 years to the mark. The next day, the first day, silver breaches $32, a number that I find it fascinating because that's a number that we have been speaking about for months.
Yep.
It breached it on the first day. Today it's toying with $32, up and down, it's toying with it. It could literally explode vertical and go to $60 to $70 as early as, say, the last day of the month, the 30th, which would be Monday into Tuesday. Could it? I'm just telling you, anything's possible. And I still go back to the beginning of this podcast. Listen to what Kim Clement said. What were his words? A strange thing shall happen. And I know one of the prophets who I referenced earlier, she got a prophetic word from God that last week when silver bounced off, it broke through 30 and touched back down to $30. And God, I couldn't believe this. God actually stated through her, because I've never heard God say a number like that. He said, silver is never going to touch 30 again.
Wow.
Which means that it's gone through 30, it's toying with 32. And if it's a biblical event that's about to happen, we literally could see the CME numbers being triggered, all the triggering events manifest, and we could literally see $68 to $70 silver, possibly still even this month of September or October, because we have all the biblical God's feasts in October. And so, again, all of this is in God's plan, God's perfect timing. All I know is the timing is screaming, fasten your seatbelts. And there are two specific calculations that I want to just throw out there. Just know that everything is lining up beautifully with regards to time. There are 2 time points. And again, when we read scripture, it says there shall be sign in the sun and the moon and the stars. I'm not making this up. There's a reason why Revelation 12 was written in the Bible. Why was Revelation 12 written? Why, when you read scripture, when you pull up Revelation 12, why does it talk about the woman and the dragon? Why does it talk about this? And what's the woman giving birth to? right? She's giving birth to the church. So the church is about to be birthed. A new era is about to be birthed. And there are 2 time points. We had, so this heavenly alignment that was written in Revelation 12 describes the alignment, and it specifically occurred on September 23rd, 2017. You can't deny this. It happened. And then the 2 calculating time points are from September 23rd, you go 7 years, which would be 2 days ago. So now we're in the start of this. The next day, silver goes through $32. And then beyond that is the next day, a 45-day window. If we use the biblical Daniel calculation, takes it to Halloween. And we don't have time for it today, but Kim Clement's got massive amount of prophecy about Halloween. So all I got to say is, Andrew, at this moment in time, how available is silver, and can you still get it? And how do they find you?
Well, it's very available right now. You can get just about anything that you want. The premiums are low. There really couldn't be a better time. So reach out to us at bh-pm.com. And right there on the homepage, there's a form. Go ahead and fill out that form. Put in your name, email address, phone number, and under the how you heard about us part, put Gold 2020 forecast or Bo sent me or Bo Polny. But it's the notes and questions section that's most important. So we have different team members that specialize in different parts of what we do. If you have questions or would like to roll over part of your retirement account or all of it into a precious metals IRA, then state that in the notes section so I can get you to our IRA team. They're the best in the business, and our response time is usually within about 24 hours. We do have staff here on the weekend that are making calls, so definitely reach out before we start to see this blow vertical, because once we do that, there's going to be this herd mentality. I second the notion that Bo gave about October and the importance of it. That's when we tend to see stock market crashes. 1987 was in October, 1929 was in October, and October is always a very shaky month. And then a week after October is done, we have the election. So the whole world is watching. There's definitely something brewing, and it's time to just pull the reins in a little bit and protect yourself with precious metals, or at the very least, learn how to do it so that when you are ready, that you'll be prepared and that you can make an educated decision and not an emotional one.
Silver and gold are mine, saith the Lord. That's exactly what Barry Wunsch got again today in a prophetic word. So many are hearing this word that it's off to the races. And here we go. Here we go. Bo, any closing thoughts?
Babylon the Great shall fall, shall fall, shall fall, shall fall. Babylon was made and creates and controls humanity with paper money. And when it falls, that's the flipping of the financial scales. God's going to flip the scales like you have never, ever seen before. It's coming, and I believe we are here.
We are here. And as Bo said, watch these Hebrew festivals. They're coming. We just had Jonathan Kahn on and his new book, The Red Dragon. You should see how God works in these Hebrew calendar. It's absolutely amazing. All right, that wraps up today's Take 5. God bless you, and go in his shalom.
Babylon the Great shall fall, says the Spirit of God. Babylon the Great shall fall, shall fall, shall fall.